Hi, I'm Andrew from Creative Guitar. Thanks for tuning into my weekly guitar blog. It is Friday, July 9th, 2010. And this time around, I've got some news from Prince that the internet is dead. We'll be talking about 360-degree record deals, and we'll be discussing some stuff about beginner guitar lessons. But first, Prince, he has decided that his new album will be released in CD format only in Britain's The Mirror newspaper. There'll be no digital downloads anywhere in the world because of his ongoing battles against the internet. You see, he has banned his music from YouTube, iTunes, and he's even closed down his official website. So he released a quote to the media here declaring that the internet is completely over. I don't see why I should give my new music to iTunes or to anyone else. They won't pay me in advance for it, and then they get angry when they can't get it. So I don't know. Anyway, his new album 2010 is being released for free in the Saturday edition of The Mirror. And he's, of course, very likely being paid some type of cash advance, I would imagine, from The Mirror for having them go and peddle it off to the public for him. But I can understand that he wants to get paid for his music. However, everybody kind of knows that in the past 10 years, the number of people actually paying for music has dropped by at least 90%. And what I don't understand is why he wouldn't take some time to just comprehend the music business of today and how he would be probably far better off by just producing and distributing his own music. He could hire people and have an agency and a marketing team dealing with the business side of things for him. And the guy is an established worldwide name. He's got the name, he's got the musicianship, he's got the professional, glossy, highly produced sound and image. And I can't understand why he wouldn't have a website and take care of his business in this modern music industry as it is today, instead of crying the blues about not getting his couple of million up front for his album dropping. And I certainly don't agree with him that the internet is dead. He should consider what artists like David Bowie, Madonna, Radiohead, and many, many others, AC/DC and so on, have done with their careers. He doesn't, Prince, you don't need to go blow off steam about not getting cash advances and so forth in today's music industry. There is a modern day digital world out there. It's also a money-making machine. I think he just needs to just go look for it because these comments he's spewing out are making him look like kind of a real, So a lot of artists would kill for the established name that Prince has, and I think he's kind of blowing it here. Anyway, let's move on to something that a subscriber off my website sent me. It's an article that discusses the benefits of something called a 360-degree record deal. And after I read the article, I almost wondered, if Warner Brothers themselves didn't actually write this article. The article was shouting the fantastic nature of the 360-degree record deal. And for those of you that are not familiar with this, let me just explain it quickly for you. How would you like a record deal that is mainly the same kind of thing that the similar record deals of the classics of the 20th century were all based upon, where the label gets a majority of the music sale profits. But this time, the labels will also take a sizable chunk of the artist's live performance, publishing rights, and merchandising. So what is the benefit of this to the artist? Well, to put it in plain English, none. Zip, zero. In fact, the deal for the artist under this new system is without a doubt the worst thing that has ever happened previously, or that has ever been dreamed up by what we'll just start calling the corporate music terrorists before. Now, for the majority of bands, even very well-known bands, their main source of income is usually touring and merchandise. But now, the industry, using this new model, wants a slice of all this. So imagine a group of very hungry people for a moment, sitting around a table, and in comes a fresh-baked home-style pizza. And there's 10 pieces, and one guy goes up and takes 9, and then pushes the last piece over to the other 9 people sitting there, and they say, oh, here you go. How can you justify that? And you can't. What they're saying is, well, we have the PR system in place, and our promotional engine will make or break every new band. But, geez, this is what they've always done anyway, and it's something that they haven't established. So rather than give up so much potential income, I think a lot of the newer bands would be far better off just producing and distributing their own stuff and keep away from the labels and the corporate music terrorists that are abound this day and age. Anyway, let's carry on to the question of the week, coming to us from Karen in Los Angeles, California. She wrote in saying, Andrew, I am a beginner guitarist and I've had somewhat of a bad start. My first music teacher didn't teach me a thing. He would just sit there telling me how cool his band was and how they had all these great gigs. I didn't even take out my guitar once. He asked me to buy a book, but we never even opened it in class. This can't be typical. Can you explain how you started and what your early experiences were? Also, is there a good modern study method that you'd recommend? Well, thanks for writing in, Karen. Unfortunately, I have heard your story before. It's nothing new. In fact, back in the 90s when I was managing the lessons departments of a couple of locations of guitar lessons and music stores that I was doing at that time, there were complaints. I would get complaints back then of teachers essentially not teaching and simply, I guess I called it ego tripping on students. I have no clue why some teachers seem to have the need to do this, but it does happen. Anyway, to get onto your question, I started taking lessons a long time ago. It was in 1978. My first teacher used to just come to my house, and he worked out of an old Alfred Music Company book that I still have it here in my office. The New Guitar Course, it was called. I think it was actually a good way to begin because actually I learned how to read music in the open position by studying through those books. I think I did the first 2 books with him. And these days, much of the modern instructional methods that are out there, they focus on tab and on learning popular songs, which, really, I don't think is all that bad either. I like the idea that modern students get to know the neck along the fingerboard a little bit faster than I did when I was a kid. And I think the motivation factor tends to be somewhat higher, as well as the fact that you get to learn popular music that's on the radio at that moment. Just, you have to realize, though, about this whole lessons thing, is the student is in the driver's seat. You, as the student, should be voicing your concerns if you feel your instruction is lacking in any way. You're paying for the sessions, and above all, you should feel like you are the one that is getting the money's worth out of it. I think that in this day and age, also, any place teaching should have a computer in the room. It should be loaded up with some good software, especially audio editing and recording software. I think the internet is huge. I think it's a resource that teachers can't overlook. They should tap into it during their lessons. Internet should be made available in the lesson room with the computer, as well as there should be a printer off that computer. And each and every class that teachers do, they should be able to jump on the net if necessary and check out things. I use things sometimes in lessons like Groove Shark. I don't know if you've ever gone to that site. It's got songs on it. Pretty much any tune you can dream up is on there. I'll hit YouTube sometimes to talk about artists. I'll hit Ultimate Guitar. I believe that this is so crucial. Also, being able to print those handouts out are really important as well, along with any kind of song charts that you want to get off to your students. They should be printed as needed, and I believe that teachers today should be also recording some of the concepts that they cover in their lessons. I think most teachers are fairly good at this. I do that, and what I do is I just straight away email the MP3 about what we did, so that when the student gets home, the email is there in their inbox with the MP3 attached, and they can just go and start hammering out on the lesson that we just discussed. And I just don't think there's any reason why all teachers can't really offer this. It's pretty straightforward stuff these days. So I hope this helps you, Karen. The classes are yours above all else, and you are paying for the right to get a lot out of them. So anyway, that's about all the time I have for today. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll be blogging again next week. Take care, and bye for now. We'll see you next time.